Alrighty, good morning everybody. It is Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. Coming into contract rollover, midway through contract rollover here. We have rolled over to the June 2024 contract now. So let's go ahead and we'll scroll back and take a look at what happened here yesterday. And give me 1 second here. So we came into the open yesterday. We did say there were some good clues for the bulls to try to continue to push. And let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here. So the market did open and start out with a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of an in-breath there. But our expectation was for the bulls to try and push the market. So let's take a look here. The market opened, tried to hold above the 200, could not do it. We got that little peak above and fell on a very micro scale. And then market started to sell off, get down back through 50% of last week, and then we just kind of ducked below, and that began this really awesome bullish run. So if you were a little bit skeptical of the bearishness out of the open, about half hour after the open, you got yourself a beautiful opportunity to try and get long here, especially after we started to get back up above the 50% of the previous week. Back up through the high of the day before, back up through VWAP. You then got some really great aggressive opportunities, and even one of our textbook pullbacks to the 200 there for a pretty decent trade. It would have been probably just about a 10-pointer there, and then we started getting the pullback. So the pullback was a nice, healthy kind of mean reversion right back to the VWAP there. Did not hold VWAP with less than a 2-point break, unfortunately. They did kind of pop down through it about 4 points, but for all intents and purposes, they did hold. There was one of those opportunities to try the first test of the 200 as the market was failing. Remember, I talk about this all nearly every day, getting a push to a new high for the day, and then getting that larger pullback, the crossover, and that first kiss of the 200, you actually would have been able to grab just about a 10-point push to the downside. But then again, the bulls recovered from VWAP, and then from there got another great bullish opportunity at the end of the day. So remember, we expected that the bulls were going to try to push the market. So as you start to see the price get back through VWAP, the bulls defend VWAP towards the end of the day for the last few hours there. You should have noticed and recognized that price held 50% of last week, price held VWAP, and then you had opportunities to continue to try things on the bullish side. There is another great opportunity for a pullback to the 200 once we continue to establish the bullish strength throughout the end of the day here. We got three beautiful opportunities again to buy pullbacks right to the 200 and make a decent living there right up to the high of the day. So that's kind of how yesterday played out. Maybe a little tricky at the open here because we did start with a sell-off, but then everything else should have been pretty clear. And you could have actually made some decent money on the bearish side, even though the overarching trend of the day was to the upside. So you could have made money to the downside when we were pulling back right off the 200 and the fast-moving average. You could have made money right out of the open here as we got the crossover and price started to sell off. We did actually jump right back up and kiss right into the hopeful, and then kiss right into the 50% of the previous day, and then kiss into the back end of the previous daily close. So there were opportunities to short on the way down, and then obviously, in my opinion, much better opportunities on the long side here throughout the day. So that kind of wrapped up yesterday, and it brings us here into the overnight session where the bulls have been having a lot of trouble getting up through the high of the day before here. And now we have a double top and we're getting a pullback, right? So that's basically it for our review. Nothing super notable that happened here in the overnight session outside the fact that that hopeful there, that damn hopeful that started to print just about right here, Still gave you some decent rotations, and now here we are coming right back to it, basically bifurcating the overnight session. But really nothing super sexy to really point out here in the overnight. So that brings us to our pre-market for this morning. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames here and take a look at the charts now that we're on the June 2024 contract.